Today is all about all the way. The praise goes out to you. All the praise goes out to you. Today, I'm living for you. To give you praise, everything I do. All the praise goes out to you. I'm no reason to give your life your food. All the strength, draw in mercy from us. I don't want you're all I need. Time has come to stand for you. Jesus, today is all about all the way. The praise goes out to you. All the praise goes out to you. Today, I'm living for you. To give you praise, everything I do. All the praise goes out to you. Oh, we are yours. Oh, we live for us. All you are is all that you are. Oh, we are yours. Oh, we live for us. All you are is all that you are. Oh, we are yours. Oh, we live for us. It's all that you are. It's God to stand for you. So I'm gonna give my praise to you. Time has come to stand for you. So I'm gonna give my praise to you. Jesus, today is all about all the way. My praise goes out to you. All the praise goes out to you. Today, I'm living for you. Give you praise and everything I do. All the praise goes out to you. Everything I do. All the praise goes out to you.
Thanks, Josh. Welcome, everybody.
There we go.
Testing
There
one.
we go. It just takes a minute.
I should have known that. All right, just like to call your attention to those things in the bulletin. Just to point that out. Chess Club, next Sunday. Children's Ministries is in effect. Kingdom Kids and Nursery are all in effect today. I want to welcome Carol and Dave here today. Dave will be bringing the message. And I got to tell you, if you weren't at the Adult Sunday School, and everybody I've been talking to today is just filled with anticipation of what God has for us today. The Spirit is thick in here, and I just encourage you to really, really put the things of this world aside and just go to the Lord with a clear conscience and just an open heart to hear what God has for you today, because I think it's going to be really, really special. Cleanup Day next November 8th, and one other thing with respect to announcements is the Operation Christmas Child. Those boxes need to be back by November 16th. Do you have something in you?
Just wanted to take a couple of minutes this morning during our announcement time to talk to you about something we've been working on here at Downing Hills. Back in the beginning of October, we met as HopeNet pastors for a Pastor's Day, which we do semi-regularly. It's a regular scheduled thing, once a quarter. And during that last day, we spent a lot of time, the entire day, talking about financial policies and just really safe, responsible, and practical handling of finances for the church as we worship through our giving and providing God's provision, us giving that. So we have just really been thinking about our financial handling and policies. And after that HopeNet day, HopeNet asked us to provide them, we as an organization, HopeNet, with a copy of our financial policies, which led to our elder team scrambling to start working on getting financial policies in place. And as we began doing that, we put a task force in place of 3 people, Alan, Zach Lambert, and Hope, who are helping us to draft financial policies. Hopefully within the next couple weeks, we expect to have a draft by next Wednesday, actually. That will then go to the elders for editing and approval and start to get just financial policies in place in areas that we haven't had before. And in exploring this, it has brought about some things and brought our attention to things that we could improve upon, of things that maybe haven't gone as great or as well as they could have in the past. One of those areas, you might have noticed, would be how long we have offerings on hand on Downing Hills. From September through the end of October, at one point we had 7 weeks worth of offerings on hand. And this is to be transparent, not to scare you. The money was secure, it was locked up, and it was in our possession. It had been recorded and taken care of. But it simply came to our attention that that's not really sound financial practice and appropriate to have that amount of money on hand and not having your checks cashed as you faithfully give as God provides to you for that amount of time.
So Andy, when you say on hand, you mean they just weren't cashed?
Yes, they just weren't cashed. We're not talking about financial improprieties, nobody missing, nothing like that. We're simply talking about there was money on hand that just hadn't been deposited into our bank account. And you probably noticed that. As a matter of fact, several people brought it to our attention and said, hey, we wrote checks to Downing Hills, how come they haven't been deposited? And I just want to encourage and assure you that that is welcomed. And if you see that your check hasn't been cashed, so if you put a check in this week and next Sunday that check hasn't been cashed, I would encourage and invite you to come get in contact with me or one of the elders and say, hey, just wondering what's happening with this, because to be honest, we're a small church plant type atmosphere. You know, we're off in a building like this. We don't have an office that we have a full-time secretary in, and there is the potential that things could happen to a check or something just getting lost in the mail. People send things in. So we're going to try to continue doing our best to improve as we can, which involves depositing the offerings in the same week, and hopefully by the next day. So what you should have seen last Sunday, if you had put an offering in while we were prayer walking last Sunday, you would have seen that your check hopefully was deposited on Tuesday morning, and that should have cleared your bank at some point this week. So we're readily trying to improve, and just want to encourage you that we're working hard to make sure, as a smaller congregation of believers, without some of the resources that larger churches might have, that we continue to have the best and safest financial policies that we can. And in that, I just want to thank you so much for you faithfully giving as God provides to you, that you would provide for Downing Hills to continue operating in that way as well, financially, because it's a big part of our worship. And just really appreciate you continuing to faithfully give, and that's just highly recognized. And I would encourage you to continue to study the Scriptures. We're going to keep talking about what good stewardship and faithful giving in our worship looks like here in the coming weeks. Just a little bit each Sunday, and just would encourage you to keep listening and keep an open heart to that, and encourage you to keep worshiping in that way. Does anyone have any questions right now at the moment? Okay. If you have anything that comes to mind, or you have any suggestions or thoughts as we just work through the process of this, please bring them to our attention, and we just appreciate it. So, today, thank you for worshiping through your giving, and we just encourage you to continue doing that today, as well as the other ways of worshiping that we're going to continue in now. I was just thinking while everybody was kind of like, I don't know, listening. This week for me was really strange. It was like, I don't know about you, but I had like a really tough week, and I don't know, something that always brings me back to the hope in Jesus Christ is remembering what He did for me, and then not just like the general, what He's personally done for me in my relationship with Him as well, not just like the cross and how He's forgiven me. And so today, as we lift up our voice in worship, I hope that sort of theme of like remembrance and like this is the foundation that I stand on and I can't forget, that would kind of be with you for the rest of the week as we sing these words. So you can take whatever posture of worship that you feel comfortable, standing, sitting, kneeling, and I hope that you're encouraged this morning by what the Spirit wants to do. In Jesus' name. Let's worship. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for what you've done for me. Thank you, Lord. We praise your name today above us. Our Father everlasting, the all-creating one, God Almighty. Your Holy Spirit, conceiving Christ the Son, Jesus our Savior. I believe in God our Father, I believe in Christ the Son, I believe in the Holy Spirit, our God is three in one. I believe in the resurrection, rise again, for I believe in the name of Jesus. Our judge and our defender, suffered and crucified. Forgiveness is in you. Descended into darkness and rose in glorious light. Forever seated in heart. Declare this morning, I believe in God our Father. I believe in Christ the Son. I believe in the Holy Spirit. Our God is three in one. I believe in the resurrection, and we will rise again. For I believe in the name of Jesus. I believe in God our Father. I believe in Christ the Son. I believe in the Holy Spirit. Our God is three in one. Resurrection, and we will rise again. For I believe in the name of Jesus. Oh, I believe Father, I believe in Christ the Son, I believe in the Holy Spirit, our God is three in one, I believe in the resurrection, and we will rise again. Oh, I believe in the name of Jesus. For I believe in the name of Jesus. I believe in a life eternal. I believe in the virgin birth. I believe in the saints coming down and in your holy church. I believe in the resurrection when Jesus comes again. For I believe in the name of Jesus. Jesus Christ is Lord. I believe in God our Father. I believe in Christ the Son. I believe in the Holy Spirit. Our God is three in one. I believe in the resurrection, that we will rise again. For I believe in the name of Jesus. Yes, I believe in the name of Jesus. Our God is a consuming fire, a burning holy flame with all glory and freedom. Our God is the only righteous judge, ruling over us with kindness and wisdom. We will keep our eyes on you. We will keep our eyes on you. Our mighty fortress is our God. A sacred refuge is your name, Jesus. Your kingdom is unshakable. With you forever we reign. Our God's jealous for his own, none can comprehend his love and his mercy. Our God's exalted on his throne, high above the heavens, forever he is worthy. We will keep our eyes on you. We will keep our eyes on you. Almighty fortress is our God. A sacred refuge is your name. Your kingdom is unshakable. With you forever we will reign. Mighty fortress is our God. A sacred refuge is your name. Your kingdom is unshakable. Forever we will keep our eyes on We will keep our eyes on you, so we can set our hearts on you. We will set our hearts on you. Almighty fortress in our God, our sacred refuge is your name. Your kingdom is unshakable. Our God is a consuming fire, burning holy flame with glory and freedom.
The splendor of the King, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice, let all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide, and trembles at his voice, and trembles at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God, and all will see how great, how great is our God. Age to age he stands, and time is in his hands, beginning and the end, beginning
I confess, dying here, I find my rest. Without you, I fall apart. For you're the one that guides my heart. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. The sin is deep, for grace is more. The grace is found, it's worth it all. Lord, where you are, I breathe like you are. That holiness is Christ in me. Sing together, where you are, Lord, it's where I am. Holiness is Christ in me. Oh, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I want defense. My righteousness. Oh, God, how I Lord, we need you. God, we need you. Oh, we need you. Every hour we need you. Oh, defense. Righteousness. God, how I So teach my song to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, and I cannot stand or fall on you, then Jesus, you're my hope and stay. And so teach my song to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, when I cannot stand or follow you, 'cause Jesus, you're my hope and strength. But I cannot stand or follow you, 'cause Jesus, you're my hope and strength. I need you. I need every hour. I want defense, I want righteousness. Oh God, I love it all for you. I need you. Oh, I need every hour. I want defense, I righteousness. Oh God, I need you. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. we need you, Lord. We need you. Forgive us, God, for sometimes just going through life thinking that it's our righteousness that makes us worth something. It's our righteousness that justifies us. No, but Lord, it's the life that you lived. It's the life that you lived, God, and the punishment that you took in our place, Lord, that now we get that worth. We get that life from you, God. It's not something that we need to strive for, but Lord, I thank you that the life we now live is transformed in you, God. Is transformed by Jesus Christ and his work. Lord, I praise you and I thank you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Does anybody have a testimony that you'd like to share this morning? Have you had an encounter with God this week that you can share with us? Have you had an experience of a blessing in the community this week that you would like to share with us? Or maybe it was an experience of a blessing with another believer or an encounter with another believer that you would be willing to encourage and edify the body with this morning. And Ed's going to run around with his mic.